Hi guys, great to see you. Now if you're wondering if Stephen Mark Ryan from Solving the Money Problem inspired me to start reading Jim Rohn, the answer is a definite no. But did he inspire me to make a YouTube channel? Absolutely 100%. Guys, great to see you. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do to get notifications in your feed. Now if you've already subscribed and you're back again, fantastic to have you back. Important information here about, well, let's be honest, about the American market, but more than that, about the American administration and about American politics. What are they doing in America? What is taking so damn long? I don't understand. Right now, the American populace, the American people, and the American government are willfully choosing to subsidize German companies, Japanese companies, at the expense of their own, even Chinese companies at the expense of their own. Right now, Volkswagen still qualifies for the EV subsidy, and Tesla does not. Obviously, Tesla is the only American company. Obviously, Tesla isn't the only American company not qualifying for EV incentives. GM doesn't either, because they've also run out of the federal tax credit. So what that means is foreign automakers are selling EVs in America at a cheaper price because they're being subsidized by the American government. Now, to me, this is utterly ridiculous. Now, I'm aware that Joe Biden has proposed an incentive for EVs made in America, but just what on earth is going on, and what on earth is taking so damn long for this incentive to actually be put in place? It's ridiculous. Of course, you all mocked Donald Trump for not putting in EV incentives, which he rightly very should have, and unfortunately didn't do. But, guys, where is the scorn for Joe Biden? Get on it. Start criticizing him. Get him in the media. Get him on CNBC or whatever. Something needs to change. America should not be subsidizing German companies, Japanese companies, Chinese companies to sell EVs in their country. It doesn't make sense. So, the cheapest EV right now in the United States with four-wheel drive is the Volkswagen ID4. Believe it or not, it comes in the base model specification at $43,000 US. Now, yes, it's not really apples for apples with the equivalent Tesla Model Y because the specification is quite low, but still, it is the cheapest four-wheel drive EV in the United States. Now, I think Volkswagen pricing this car so low is a very smart move because they know they're going to have a fight on their hands when the Gigafactory in Berlin opens. Now, that might not be as bad as you think because, let's be honest, there is enormous demand for EVs and there's not enough EVs on the market. So there's quite often YouTube channels and media personalities trying to sell you this story that this new vehicle is the new Tesla killer. This is going to be the new Tesla killer. This is the new Tesla killer. No, this is the new Tesla killer. Look at the specs. Wow. Guys, there is no such thing as a Tesla killer because we just don't have enough EVs on the market, anywhere near enough to satisfy demand. There won't be a Tesla killer for at least 5 years, if ever. I don't think it's ever going to happen. Guys, don't get me wrong. Some of you here call me a Tesla fanboy, which I'll admit, I'm certainly a fan of Tesla. I'm also a fan of BYD, as you know. So, I've also been accused of being a BYD fanboy in the comments sections. What am I then? BYD and a Tesla fanboy? Is that possible? I don't know. You tell me. Getting back to Volkswagen. Volkswagen has said they committed to making EVs the default choice for Americans. That comes from the American boss of Volkswagen, Scott Keogh, in a statement on the pricing. Now, the fact that Volkswagen still qualifies for the EV subsidy in the United States and Tesla doesn't means the price comes down by $7,500 US, making this car around just over $35,000 US. Now that is an absolute bargain, guys. Honestly, if I lived in the United States, I would be very tempted by this car. Very, very tempted at $35,000 US. It's an excellent car. You'll see in my 21 car comparison that the Volkswagen ID4 came in equal sixth place out of the 21 vehicles. Now, it's a very good car. However, it does have some flaws. Now, one of the flaws is range in comparison to the Tesla Model 3 long range. Now, I know they're not directly comparable vehicles, But just for the sake of comparison, let's have a look. The Tesla Model 3 long range in the test did 655 kilometers, and the Volkswagen ID4 did 532 kilometers. So a fair bit of a difference. But comparing apples with apples, if we look at the Tesla Model Y, the range of the ID4 is actually fairly similar. Now guys, the main reason the ID4 didn't do better in my 21 car test is simply because it was too expensive in Europe. Now, for some reason, Volkswagen in America has been able to price this car much lower than what it's priced at comparably in Europe. What an incredible opportunity this is for American buyers to buy this car, first of all, cheaper than it is in Europe, which is bizarre. I don't know how they're doing this, but good on them. And in addition to that, get the $7,500 tax credit. Now, guys, this all may change very soon if the Biden administration finally get their act together and actually initiate, put into practice, put into play, put into actual policy the $10,000 EV tax credit they're proposing for vehicles made in America. And if they do that, this will change everything. Of course, the price will change, everything will change. But as of right now, the ID4 is an absolute bargain with the fact you're getting an additional $7,500 off the price. Now, what about efficiency? Well, in terms of efficiency, the ID4 is less efficient than some other cars. It does around about 14.5 kilowatts per 100 kilometers, whereas the Model 3 is at about 12.2. However, that's probably not a fair comparison because, like I said, it's more similar to the Tesla Model Y. What about performance? Well, performance is the one big problem with this car. If you're a fan of performance, you're probably not going to want to buy an ID4. They're actually very, very slow. Guys, if you're wondering about performance, well, the ID3 is abysmally slow, but the ID4 is actually very impressive. It'll do 0 to 60 miles an hour in around about 5.7 seconds, which is pretty damn good in comparison to the very slow ID3. Now, what about the motors? Well, the ID4 all-wheel drive combines the permanent magnet synchronous electric motor on the rear axle of the standard ID4 with a new asynchronous electric motor on the front axle. Unlike a traditional all-wheel drive system, there are no mechanical links between the axles. Now, the rear unit generates a maximum output of 201 horsepower and 228 pound-feet of torque, while the front unit has a maximum output of 107 horsepower and 119 pound-feet of torque. Now, together the system has a maximum output of 295 horsepower. Each motor connects to the wheels through a differential and a single-speed gearbox. The rear motor handles standard driving situations, leaving the front motor to engage only as needed, such as when the ID4 senses wheel spin at any corner. The motors can react faster than any combustion engine within a few hundredths of a second, so that the driver never notices the changes. This is obviously a good system to have because it definitely will improve the efficiency of the car running in two-wheel drive mode. Well, basically the car's running in two-wheel drive mode all the time until you need it versus running in four-wheel drive mode. Now, both motors are linked to the rest of the vehicle through the Vehicle Dynamics Manager, which balances performance closely together, optimize handling when cornering at speed. It gently brakes the wheels on the inside of the bend, thus turning the car slightly into the radius as required. Drivers can decide themselves how comfortable or sporty they want the ID4 all-wheel drive to be with driving mode selection. The driving mode selector, basically, guys, it'll actually influence the steering weight, the electric drive motors, and it offers a choice of 5 modes: Eco, Comfort, Sport, Custom, and Traction. Eco mode's designed, obviously, for efficient driving. Comfort mode ensures that you get better comfort. Sport adds a bit of excitement by leaving the front motor engaged. And Custom allows a driver to blend between comfort and sport. Traction mode is intended specifically for driving on loose or slippery surfaces like snow or gravel, etc. And it features permanent all-wheel drive up to speeds of around 12 miles an hour. So let's say you're descending some sort of steep gravel section, you'd want to turn that on. Now, one good thing about this car is Volkswagen have announced the towing. It'll tow 2,700 pounds when using a brake trailer over the rear-wheel drive's first edition model's 2,200 pounds. So it's an increase of 500 pounds versus the first edition. The ID4 all-wheel drive comes with a standard tow hitch and an electrically heated windshield. All other features of the rear-wheel drive ID4 carry over to the all-wheel drive model, including its 82 kilowatt-hour battery pack, its spacious interior, and IQ Drive suite of driver assistance technologies. Now, Volkswagen say that all ID4 models can also receive over-the-air software updates to add functionality in the future. I think this is probably bullshit. I think Volkswagen's still struggling quite a bit with their software development. As you know, guys, these cars were sitting in lots for around 3 to 4 months while Volkswagen struggled mightily with bringing their software in-house. Before they built the ID3 and the ID4, Volkswagen, like it, most of the car makers, except for some in China and obviously Tesla, had their software done for them externally. Very common in the automotive industry. They obviously don't publicize this fact because it's not a positive sounding thing, but it's true. So when Volkswagen tried to bring it all in-house, which I think was a good move, they massively struggled and the cars sat in lots for months, basically collecting dust while the new software engineers tried to get them working. So realistically, the likeliness that you'd be receiving the kind of over-the-air updates that you receive on a Tesla, for example, increased range, increased power at prices we can afford. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.